Fast am I, and a very good evening to you. Falderiugus like Grania, welcome to Sundown, but Sundown is going to the Guild. But we'll be doing it all in our virtual late night lounge. Come on in. Because if we're going to be talking about the Guild, the Manx Music Festival, we need to be comfortable. I've already brewed up the coffee, so come on in, put your feet up. I have got so much to tell you. I've got so much good music, and we've only just started.
Manx Radio's coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you by Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook, spectrumwindows.im or spectrumwarmroofs.im.
We just had 2 days of competition and so much wonderful entertainment across all disciplines. And I'm going to bring as much of that to you as I can. Traditionally, the opening weekend of the Manx Music Festival is a feast of brass music. It's solos and ensembles, and then as I left the Royal Hall tonight, it was the band concerts where each of the bands competing, they play a march and a hymn tune, and then a small concert of their own choosing, to put contrasting pieces in, and there's generally a little bit of comedy creeps in there. Now, I left my wonderful, wonderful recording engineer, Tim, there, and he had the perfect companion for that with Ian Cottier, our very own Time for Brass man, and Ian will be giving Tim some notes and guidance, and during our coverage of the Guild through this week, I'll be playing lots of music from those concert classes. But we're going to start our coverage the way we started our competition. First thing on Saturday morning, and we were in the Promenade Suite for the solo instrumentalists. And this is where it's lovely to chart the progress of young players who've really finding their feet as solo players, many of them members of bands. And then as there are some new ones coming in, there are always some of those who are getting older who are coming back in again and just choosing harder pieces and just evidently growing in their skills and their confidence. We had a lovely adjudicator, Steve Pritchard-Jones, and he said a very good thing when he was adjudicating these young classes. He said, I have to say to our young players, he said, it is very, very difficult to play a brass instrument before noon, because he said, when you're a teenager, when you're a youngster, he said, you shouldn't really be getting out of bed before 12 o'clock on a Saturday, should you? So he gave them credit for that. And he had lots of tips about technique and how to stand, hold the instrument, breathing, all of those, really helpful adjudication. And he started off by saying that there were no bad performances. He said they ranged from very good to excellent. And he said, it's perfectly okay to have nervous moments. And he then told a little story about him playing in a concert just a week ago. And he said, I'd practiced the piece and I was, quite okay about it. And then he said, I just felt a bit nervous when I started to play. He said, and a good 3 or 4 notes escaped. So, these adjudicators, they really have a way of putting everybody at their ease. Now, you'll be thinking that I'm perhaps being a bit economical in my what I tell you about the winning performances. But in actual fact, a decision has been taken to put us in line with other music festivals, and the adjudicators have been telling us this for a year or two, that it is not common practice to give out the marks for school children. They give marks out, announce marks for the adult classes, or everybody gets a comment sheet with lots of helpful comments on it, and the marks are on that, and the marks will go on the website, manxmusicfestival.org. But I will be telling you who's won, who's come second, and if the marks were given out in the case of adult classes, then obviously I will tell you what they are. But this is the policy. But you can have a look on the website. The marks will be there, but they're not actually announced in the hall as part of the competition as once they were. But certainly there's a lot of enthusiasm about finding out who are in first and second places. Right, so we started at 9:30 yesterday morning in the Promenade Suite with an instrumental solo class, brass solo class, for up to 11-year-olds. And we had Thomas Shimmin playing his B-flat cornet, and he chose a lovely piece from Jesus Christ Superstar, I Don't Know How to Love Him. And Thomas did very well there and took a second place. But the winner of the class was Liam Taverner. He too is playing a B-flat cornet, and his chosen piece is Rondo Olympia, and he took a first place, and he's going to play for you now. This is Liam Taverner. A well-deserved round of applause there for first-placed Liam Taverner. Now, that was followed by the instrumental solo class for the slightly older players for school years 7 and 8. And the winner there was Estelle Oakey, playing an E-flat horn. And she was first placed, and just behind her, playing tenor horn, was Charlotte Dawson in second place. Now, please don't think that I'm overlooking Estelle. It's just that we're trying to spread out the winning performances. So we're going to move to another class, and you'll be able to hear Estelle's winning performance in another part of our coverage. So well done to Estelle for a first place in the instrumental solo school years 7 and 8. Must make mention of the accompanist for all these brass instrumental classes, the wonderful Julian Power, who just radiates confidence. He helps, he obviously checks the tuning of the instrument with the piano, puts the music stand where it needs to be, and he's just, all I can say is radiates confidence, really does everything he can to help these players, players of any age in fact. He helps them to give their very best performance. He does a fantastic job. So it's Julian who's accompanying all the players that you'll be listening to now. So then we moved on to instrumental solo for 14 and 15-year-olds. And here we had a second place for Ben Smith. He played a euphonium solo and took a second place. First place went to James Kinley. And if you're thinking, now that's familiar in the world of brass banding, you're absolutely right. He is the son of John Kinley, who is the musical director of Russian Silver Band. And James Kinley took a first place in his class for the 14 and 15-year-olds. His choice of piece is Blue John, and here's his winning performance. That was winning performance from James Kinley, and that was Blue John. Well, I'm happy to say that we've got quite a few of our regulars in the lounge already, and a very funny text has come in, an email has come in from Phil Brown, and he says, "What have you done to the barbecue weather? It's freezing." Well, Phil, all I can say is what one of the Villa Marina staff said to me yesterday morning. And we met in the corridor, and as he walked past, he said, "Well," he said, "Judith Lay is in the building. It's raining. It must be Guild Week." So, yeah, it is my fault, Phil. You're absolutely right. However, the welcome in our virtual late night lounge is very warm, and we're at the Guild. So there we had James Kinley. That class was followed by instrumental solos for school years 11 to 13. So that's what, 16 to 18-year-olds, isn't it? And that produced some splendid playing, and a first place for Emily Nodwell and a second place for Alexander Neen in that class. Now we'll have those. We'll be including those when we play Estelle's winning music for you. And so what I've got for you now, just to make a little bit of variety, I thought we'd listen to one of the ensembles. Do you know, I was doing a little bit of calculation just whilst James was playing for us there. And at a very, very rough count, Julian Power, as the official accompanist for all of these brass, ensemble and solo instrument classes, will have had to practice something in the order of about 45 different pieces of music. That's food for thought, isn't it? Let's listen now to class winners, Manx Youth Band A. And this is a brass ensemble for up to 15-year-olds. And it's an own choice. And the choice of Manx Youth Band A was, I think, a very good arrangement of a real typical sundown song. See how quickly you recognise it. A winning performance here from Manx Youth Band A. Can't take my eyes off you. Winning performance there from Manx Youth Band A in the brass ensemble for up to 15-year-olds. Let's take this break, and after the break, I'll have a wonderful vocalist for you. We're moving to a different class now. We'll be coming back to the brass players, I promise you. Still lots more fantastic music for you, particularly one solo performance I'm really looking forward to playing for you. You are going to love it.
Manx Radio.
And we're back to our coverage of this year's Manx Music Festival.
Manx Radio's coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you by Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook, spectrumwindows.im or spectrumwarmroofs.im.
Well, whilst the brass instrumental and ensemble classes were going on in the Promenade Suite in the Royal Hall, we started the day with the folk song class for 9 to 13-year-olds. And just listen to this. Winning performance from Joshua Mooney. It was an own choice class. You can either sing accompanied or unaccompanied. For those who required an accompaniment, Pat Cullen, wonderful pianist, was there to be the accompanist, but there were also plenty who chose to sing unaccompanied. This is a class winner, Joshua Mooney.
Speed, bonny boat, like a bird on the wing, onward the sailors cry. Carry the lad that's born to be king, over the sea to sky. Loud the wind howl, loud the waves roar, thunderclaps rend the air. Baffled our foes stand by the shore, follow they will not dare. Speed, bonny boat, like a bird on the wing, onward the sailors cry. Carry the lad that's born to be king, over the sea to sky. Though the waves leap, soft shall ye sleep, ocean's a royal bed. Rocked in the deep, Flora will keep watch by your weary head. Speed, bonny boat, like a bird on the wing, onward the sailors cry. Carry the lad that's born to be king, over the sea to sky. Many's the lad fought on that day, well the claymore did wield. When the night came, silently lay, dead on Culloden's field. Speed, bonny boat, like a bird on the wing, onward the sailors cry. Carry the lad that's born to be king, over the sea to sky. Burned are their homes, exile and death,
You can tell when people are just absolutely riveted by a performance, can't you? When there's just that little gap between the person stops singing and the applause starts. Just drinking in every moment of it. Joshua Mooney. And I have to say that that was another of the classes where the marks were not given out, but I went on the website and had a look, and I can tell you Joshua won the class with 90 marks. I think you would agree they're well deserved. The second place, just 1 mark behind, went to Emily Bridson with a very, very fine performance and a very different song.
One morning, the weather being fair, the mother and the daughter walked out to take the air. And as they were a-walking, this maid began to vow, I must and I will get married, I'm in the notion now. Oh daughter, 'tis hold your foolish tongue. What makes you want to marry? You know you are too young. I'm 16 now, dear mother, and that you must allow. I must and I will get married, I'm in the notion now. Suppose you were to try, my dear, and could not find a man. Oh, never mind, dear mother, for there is Miller Sam. He calls me his milk and honey, goes milking of my cow. I must and I will get married, I'm in the notion now. Suppose he were to fool with you as he has done before. Oh, never mind, dear mother, for there is plenty more. For there is Jack the farmer, goes whistling to his plough. I must and I will get married, I'm in the notion now.
Isn't that wonderful? That was Emily Bridson. I must and I will get married. Great. And this afternoon I recorded an interview with another of the adjudicators, Robert Marsh, who has been working very hard over the weekend adjudicating the vocal classes and the organ playing in St Thomas's. And I'm not going to tell you what he said. I'll play that interview for you, not tonight, but we'll try and play as much music as we can tonight. But wait till you hear what he says about our singers, just the singers, because that's what he's been adjudicating. I don't think you'll be surprised. I don't think you will be in any way surprised. But I think it's just really interesting that we get a different perspective on our singers from these adjudicators who, we have to remember, spend their entire time, well, not their entire time, but a great proportion of their time they spend adjudicating. So they see and hear a great deal. So when they give a judgment on something, it's from a position of great experience. Back to the music. And we've got another very talented singer for you now. That was the folk song class for ages 9 to 13. So let's move it up now for 14 to 18-year-olds. And we had first place here for Jasmine Colligon. Again, it's an open choice. They can be an accompanied or an unaccompanied song. And Madeleine Kelly is the official accompanist on hand here for anybody who needed her services. This is the winning performance from Jasmine Colligon.
Of all the money that e'er I had, I've spent it in good company, and of all the harm that e'er I've done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I have, for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. Come fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Of all the comrades that e'er I've had, you're sorry for my going away, and of all the sweethearts that e'er I've had, they would wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls unto my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and I'll softly call, good night and joy be with you all. A man may drink and not be drunk. A man may fight and not be slain. A man may court a pretty girl and perhaps be welcomed back again. But since it falls unto my lot that I should rise and you should not, come fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Come fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all.
I love that song, and I think it's a beautiful version of it. Congratulations to first placed Jasmine Colligon. And Erin Loach took second place in that folk song class with another beautiful choice. That's another thing. Not only is everybody singing so well, but choosing such beautiful songs, and songs that really suit them. They really seem to get all the emotion in. And I will play Erin Loach singing Maid on the Shore for you a little bit later on, just a little bit later on in this hour. But another feature of the weekend, the first weekend of the Guild, is the dance classes. Now, yesterday afternoon, it was the Manx folk dancing, country dancing, and today it's been the ballet, tap, contemporary dance, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But as I say, yesterday afternoon, it was the folk dancing and country dancing. So I emerged from our little Manx radio hideaway in the villa. I thought I'll just go and see what's happening, and because unfortunately I haven't really got a way of getting dancing on the radio, but I just wanted to see what was happening. And I stepped outside and I could hear music, so of course that's a signal that you can't go into the Royal Hall, because absolute rule, you can only go in and out of the hall when nobody is actually on stage, or obviously when no adjudication is being given. So it's just between classes that you can come and go. So I'm walking along the corridor, and coming towards me is a lovely smiley face, and I recognised straight away Onnee Ayres. And I know that Onnee is a dancer, and so I asked her what was happening.
Right now, the Bulgarian dancers, they're doing their group dance. So they do it for 10 maybe minutes, and they're really good.
They're very lively, aren't they?
Yeah.
Now, I couldn't get into the hall before they started dancing, so I couldn't go in. But they generally have some quite young children standing and watching the dancing. Is that what they've been doing this time of thing?
Yeah. They've got the little children with the Bulgarian flag standing at the front, and then they're doing the dancing.
Now, tell me what you've been doing.
So I've been with my dance group, Perry Ben, and we've done 3 dances. We've done a Breton dance, the national dance of Brittany, and we came first with that. And then we did Gilia Heshery, and we won that one. And then we've just done our sword dance, or White Boys, and we didn't win in that, but I think Arbery School 2 came second, and the Perry Ben adults came first.
Excellent. Onnee, I'm going to make you my dance reporter for next year because I can see that you'd be able to bring me all the information, no trouble at all. I love the sword dance. I love the way it ends, where all the swords are together. Does that take a lot of practicing?
It takes quite a bit, because I remember the first time I did it, I was 6 or 7, and one of these massive, heavy swords came crashing down on my nose.
Oh dear. You don't forget that kind of thing, do you? But you still carried on.
Yeah.
Onnee, how often do you practice?
We practice once a week on a Sunday evening with our teacher Caroline helps, and we've got our amazing band. We've got 3 groups, so we've got the Begs, which are the little ones, and then my group is the Eggs, so we're the older children, and then there's the adults.
Very smallest ones, the Begs, how young would they be?
I think they're key stage 1 and 2 maybe. They simplify some of the dances, but I think they do very well for their ages.
But isn't it lovely that you've got groups to move into? You will look to the adults and look at the way that they dance, and the little ones will look up to you, won't they?
Yeah.
Are you doing anything else in the guild this year, Onnee?
I've got my poem, and I've got piano tomorrow, and my poem's on Friday. There are 2 poems to choose from, and there are 25 people in it this year.
Is it a funny poem or a serious one?
I think it's quite serious. It's called Entering a Castle.
It could be quite mysterious. Well, keep the surprise, because I'm going to catch up with you later in the week. But Onnee, it's lovely to talk to you. Onnee Ayres, thank you very much indeed for an excellent report on the dancing in the Villa Marina today.
Thank you.
You have just heard the voice of my co-presenter for next year, because I think Onnee, a dancer herself, she'll be perfectly placed, won't she, to bring us all the news, to go and report on the dancing. That was Onnee Ayres, and I'm very grateful to her for talking to me. I am trying to get an opportunity to talk to more people this time as part of our coverage, because I do think it brings a little bit of atmosphere, doesn't it? And this is what I'm trying to do for you, to bring, yes, the winning performances, but the atmosphere of the guild as well. I'm really trying to do that as best as I possibly can. So, we're going to go to the musicals now. Songs from the musicals. Now, the songs from the musicals has always been a very, very popular class for adults. And it's wonderful to see that for the younger people, for school years 9 to 13, so that's 14 to 18s, that class is becoming just as, if not slightly more popular than the adult class. And we've got such wonderful singers. Don't take my word for it. Just listen. This is the class winner, Amy Gravestock. She's a pupil of Olivia Landals. And if you're going to say, Olivia Landals, is this a new teacher? No, she is Mrs. Olivia Landals, as was Miss Olivia Black. So Amy is Olivia's pupil. She took a first place, and again I had a sneaky look at the website, and she had 92 marks. Her choice was from Sister Act, and she was dressed very appropriately in a veil and a very simple nun's habit, and she's singing The Life I Never Led. This is Amy Gravestock.
I've never talked back. I've never slept late. I've never sat down when told to stand straight. I've never let go and gone with the flow, and don't even know really why. I've never asked questions or taken a dare. I've never worn clothes that might make people stare. I've never rebelled or stood up and yelled, or even just held my head high. And all of the feelings unspoken, all of the truths unsaid, they're all I have left of the life I never to be brave. I want to be strong. I want to believe I'm where I belong. To stand up and say I'm seizing the day. To not just obey, but to choose. And I may not surf, I may not see friends, but I have to know I still have the chance. And maybe I'll make a painful mistake. It's mine though to take or refuse. And all of the doors yet to open, all of the rooms ahead, they're beckoning bright, scary and new. But I'm standing tall and I'm walking through. What's gone may be gone, but I won't go on playing dead. It's time to start living the life I never led.
The Life I Never Led from Sister Act, and that was a class-winning performance there in the songs from the musicals for up to 18-year-olds. That was Amy Gravestock. And two fine performances went into second and third place. Maisie Hermises was in second place with that beautiful, poignant song from Ragtime, Your Daddy's Son. And Megan Boardman took third place with another lovely song, Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again, another Lloyd Webber composition. And I promise you I will be playing both of those for you. We're going back to the brass classes, and this was the instrumental solo for brass instruments for adults. And again, the accompanist is the wonderful Julian Power. It's an own choice class, and this is the winning performance playing the cornet. This is the musical director of Ramsey Town Band. This is Robert Quane. Another class-winning performance there. Instrumental solo for adults. That was Slavish Fantasy by Carl Hone, played by Robert Quane, who is also musical director of Ramsey Town Band.
Manx Radio's coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you by Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook, spectrumwindows.im or spectrumwarmroofs.im.
And let's just have a little results roundup. There's just one other result from the brass classes that I haven't given you, and that's for the brass quartet for up to 15-year-olds. We had the ensemble, which was a win for Manx Youth Band A, and it was Manx Youth Band C who took a first place in the brass quartet for up to 15-year-olds. And again, lovely piece of audio that I will be playing for you. Might not have time for that one tonight, but certainly it will come along in another of our guild programmes. So just a little refresher over those dance classes that Onnee was talking about a little earlier, just to remind you of the results on those. Manx Folks Dancing for up to 11-year-olds, that was a first place for Onken School. In the Country and National Dancing up to age 18, it was Perrybairn Egg with their Breton dance who took a first place. Manx Folk Dancing up to 18-year-olds, that was a first again for Perrybairn Egg, and with a Manx dance, and that was Gilia Heshery. And then the Morris or sword dance was Perrybairn dancing the Weasel's Revenge. They took a first place. Do you know, to my shame, it was only at this guild that I found out that Perrybairn means white jacket. Isn't that shameful of me? And the Country and National Dancing for adults, as Onnee was telling us, the Rhythm of Romania took part in that, and they were very colourful and wonderful, but the first place went to Perrybairn. So that was in the traditional dancing in the Royal Hall yesterday. So let's have a look at the ballet and tap and the character dancing, and there was fine entertainment on offer with these in the Royal Hall today. The ballet solo was won by Francesca Eves. Now this is for school years 3 to 6, so that's up to 11-year-olds, isn't it? So Francesca Eve from Gina's Dance Academy took a first place with a distinction there. Kaya Reynolds and Kira Trustham took a first place in the character dance duet, and that's up to 11-year-olds. The tap dance solo, for again up to 11-year-olds, was won by Emma Hill. The group modern, once again for up to 11-year-olds, the group modern was won by Dynamites, and they were dancing to Run the World, and they took a first place and a distinction. Tegan Parry, dancing to Kiss from a Rose, was first in the ballet solo for up to 15-year-olds. And the tap dance solo for up to 16-year-olds was won by Lily Bridson. Lily Bridson in first place, Alicia Schofield in second. Both of them dancing to Throwback Love by Meghan Trainor. The group Modern Dance was won by the All-Stars. They're from Gina's Dance Academy, and the All-Stars were dancing to Back to the 80s, took a first place in the group Modern. The ballet solo for 18-year-olds and over was won by Amy Convery. She too is from Gina's Dance Academy. And in the character dance duet, up to, that's 18-year-olds to adults. And the character dance duet was won by Karen Mordew and Jennifer Mordew, dancing to that beautiful, beautiful ABBA song, Slipping Through My Fingers. The tap dance solo for 16 years and over was won by Amy Convery, and her choice was Imelda May's Tainted Love. That was her music. She took a first place, and she too trains at Gina's Dance Academy. And it certainly was a good day for Gina's, because High Five, dancing to King of the Clouds, won the group Modern for 16-year-olds and over. First place for High Five, also training at Gina's Dance Academy. So well done to all of them. All of those dance classes, very well supported, lots of competitors and lots of spectators, which is what we like. Let's have some music now, and this comes from one of the classes today in St Thomas's Church. It's a general vocal solo for adults, lots of fine singing. The adjudicator, Robert Marsh, praised all the confident voices. They're accompanied And he also was singled out for special mention. Accompanist is Graham Kirkland, and this is the winning performance from Erin White. Her choice was A Green Cornfield by Michael Head. A winning performance from Erin White. That was Erin White, accompanied by Graham Kirkland. She won the class for the general vocal solo and she had 90 marks. Congratulations to Avis Elliott, who came in second place, and to Sarah Qualtrough, who was in third place. And Sarah won the class ahead of that, which was the vocal solo. Before that, Sarah won that class with two lovely songs and a very fine performance. We're running out of time. Wouldn't you just know it?
Manx Radio's coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you by Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook, spectrumwindows.im or spectrumwarmroofs.im.